Hello, welcome to Shelf Defiant. I am your disembodied narrator, and we are continuing on with Jurgen, Chapter 9, The Orthodox Rescue of Guinevere. Um, where did we leave Jurgen? Oh, right, the past ladies that he had spent time with. Okay, let me double check. Yep, we're still in the green. Okay. Let's go ahead. This is of course made possible by the amazing people at Project Gutenberg. So thanks to all the wonderful people there who make public domain books available to us all. All right, now let's kick it off in chapter 9. Now, the tale tells how the cave narrowed and again turned sharply, so that Jurgen came as through a corridor into quite another sort of underground chamber. Yet this also was a discomfortable place. Here, suspended from the roof of the vault, was a kettle of quivering red flames. These lit a very old and villainous looking man in full armor, girded with a sword and crowned royally. He sat erect upon a throne, motionless, with staring eyes that saw nothing. Back of him, Jurgen noted many warriors seated in rows and staring at Jurgen with wide open eyes that saw nothing. Okay, that seems weird and creepy. The red flaming of the kettle was reflected in all these eyes, and to observe this was not pleasant. Yeah, the description isn't either. Jurgen waited non committally. Nothing happened. Then Jurgen saw that at this unengaging monarch's feet were three chests. The lids had been ripped from two of them, and these were filled with silver coins. Upon the middle chest, immediately before the king, sat a woman, with her face resting against the knees of the glaring, withered, motionless old rascal. And this is a young woman, obviously. Observe the glint of that thick coil of hair, the rich curve of the neck. Oh, clearly a tidbit fit to fight for against any moderate odds. So ran the thoughts of Jurgen, bold as a dragon now. He stepped forward and lifted the girl's head. Her eyes were closed. She was, even so, the most beautiful creature Jurgen had ever imagined. She does not breathe, and yet, unless memory fails me, this is certainly a living woman in my arms. Evidently, this is a sleep induced by necromancy. I mean, what else could it be, right? Well, it is not for nothing I have read so many fairy tales. There are orthodoxies to be observed in the awakening of every enchanted princess, and Lisa, wherever she may be, poor dear, is nowhere in this neighborhood because I hear nobody talking. So I may consider myself at liberty to do the traditional thing by this princess. Indeed, it is the only fair thing for me to do, and justice demands it. In consequence, Jurgen kissed the girl. Her lips parted and softened, and they assumed a not unpleasant sort of submissive ardor. Her eyes, enormous when seen thus closely, had languorously opened, and had viewed him without wonder, and then the lids had fallen, about halfway, just as, Jurgen remembered, the eyelids of a woman ought to do when she is being kissed properly. She clung a little, and now she shivered a little, but not with cold. Jurgen perfectly remembered that ecstatic shudder convulsing a woman's body. Everything, in fine, was quite as it should be. So Jurgen put an end to the kiss, which, as you may surmise, was a tolerably lengthy affair. His heart was pounding as though determined to burst from his body, and he could feel the blood tingling at his fingertips. He wondered what in the world had come over him. Who was too old? Okay, sorry, I thought I said that wrong. Who was too old for such emotions? Yet truly this was the loveliest girl that Jurgen had ever imagined. Fair was she to look on, with her shining gray eyes and small smiling lips, a fairer person might no man boast of having seen. And she regarded Jurgen graciously, with her cheeks flushed by that red flickering overhead, and she was very lovely to observe. She was clothed in a robe of flame-colored silk, and about her neck was a collar of red gold. When she spoke, her voice was music. "I knew that you would come," the girl said happily. "I am very glad that I came," observed Jurgen. But time presses. Time sets an admirable example, my dear princess. Oh, monsieur, but do you not perceive that you have brought life into this horrible place? You have given of this life to me in the most direct and speedy fashion. But life is very contagious. Already it is spreading by infection. And Jurgen regarded the old king as the girl indicated. The withered ruffian stayed motionless, but from his nostrils came slow, augmenting jets of vapor, as though he were beginning to breathe in a chill place. This was odd, because the cave was not cold. That's the odd part. I gotta say, hard disagree on that. And all the others, too, are snorting smoke, said Jurgen. Upon my word, I think this is a delightful place to be leaving. Yeah. First, though, he unfastened the king's sword belt and girded himself therewith, sword, dagger, and all. Now I have arms befitting my fine shirt, says Jurgen. I think you mean you're a thief. Then the girl showed him a sort of passageway by which they ascended 49 steps roughly hewn in stone, and so came to daylight. At the top of the stairway was an iron trapdoor, and this door, at the girl's instruction, Jurgen lowered. There was no way of fastening the door from without. But Thragnar is not to be stopped by bolts or padlocks, the girl said. Instead, we must straightway mark this door with a cross, since that is a symbol which Thragnar cannot pass. Um, Hold up. Who who is Thragnar? Okay, well let's check that real fast because I've never heard that. Thragnar the Breaker is a Nord hired by Suri Dreth of Mud Tree Village to keep the Naruto goblins in line. Elder Scrolls. It's hired by. Okay, so that seems to be the prevailing wisdom here. Elder Scrolls was a skilled enchanter by invisible webs. Um, the Troll King. Oh, okay. The Troll King, Thragnar, appears as Dame Lisa. Oh, okay. So that's speaking to Jurgen. Don't, no spoilers. Okay, so Troll Lord, I guess. Okay. Jurgen's hand had gone instinctively to his throat. Now he shrugged. My dear young lady, I no longer carry the cross. I must fight Thragnar with other weapons. 2 sticks will serve, laid crosswise. Jurgen submitted that nothing would be easier than to lift the trapdoor and thus dislodge the sticks. They will tumble apart without anyone having to touch them, and then what becomes of your crucifix? Why, how quickly you think of everything, she said, admiringly. Here is a strip from my sleeve, then. We will tie the twigs together. Jurgen did this and laid upon the trapdoor a recognizable crucifix. Still, when anyone raises the trapdoor, whatever lies upon it will fall off. Without disparaging the potency of your charm, I cannot but observe that in this case it is peculiarly difficult to handle. Magician or no, I would put heartier faith in a stout padlock. So the girl tore another strip from the hem of her gown, and then another from her right sleeve, and with these they fastened their cross to the surface of the trapdoor, in such a fashion that the twigs could not be dislodged from beneath. They mounted the fine steed, whose bridle was marked with a coronet, the girl riding pillion, and they turned westward, since the girl said this was best. Okay. For, as she now told Jurgen, she was Guinevere, the daughter of, oh no, Gogruven. Yeah, sorry, that's as close as I'm going to get to the correct pronunciation of that. King of Glathian and the Red Islands. So Jurgen told her he was the Duke of Logres because he felt it was not appropriate for a pawnbroker to be rescuing princesses. And he swore, too, that he would restore her safely to her father, whatever Thragnar might attempt. And all the story of her nefarious capture and imprisonment by King Ragnar did Dame Guinevere relate to Jurgen as they rode together through the pleasant May morning. She considered the Troll King could not well molest them, for now you have his charmed sword, Caliburn, the only weapon with which Ragnar can be slain. Besides, the sign of the cross he cannot pass. He beholds and trembles. My dear princess, he has but to push up the trapdoor from beneath, and the cross, being tied to the trapdoor, is promptly moved out of his way. Failing this, failing this expedient, he can always come out of the cave by the other opening, through which I entered. If this Ragnar has any intelligence at all and a reasonable amount of tenacity, he will presently be at hand. Even so, he can do no harm unless we accept a present from him. The difficulty is that he will come in disguise. Why then, we will accept gifts from nobody. There is, moreover, a sign by which you may distinguish Ragnar. For if you deny what he says, he will promptly concede you are in the right. This was the curse put upon him by Miramon Ligor for a detection and a hindrance. By that unhuman trait, says Jurgen, Ragnar ought to be very easy to distinguish. So all you have to do is deny what he says, and he'll just be like, "Oh yeah, okay." he'll just concede. He'll just concede that you're right. Seems like it might be problematic. All right, well that's the end of chapter 9. I hope you enjoyed this quick reading, and see you next time.